Now, it wasn't just the G20 summit, but over the last 3 to 4 days, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has held several bilaterals, 15 to be precise. One of them was held with his counterpart from Canada, Justin Trudeau. That happened yesterday, and the key issue that was discussed when Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau were at the talks table was that of the increasing incidents of pro-Khalistani sympathizers running riot in different parts of Canada. The community is being threatened, the community is scared, even our diplomats are threatened, is something that the Prime Minister vocally spoke about, and this is not going to be tolerated, was the clear message from India to Canada, even though Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, tried to rake up issues like interference or meddling. He went on to then say that they believe in free speech. This is not free speech, this is violence and hatred, was the clear message that came to the fore from the Indian side. But listen in to what the Canadian Prime Minister had to say first.
They both came up over the years with Prime Minister Modi. We've had many conversations on both of those issues. Obviously, Canada will always defend freedom of expression, freedom of conscience, freedom of peaceful protest. That's something that's extremely important to us. At the same time as we're always there to prevent violence, to push back against hatred. I think on the issue of the community, it's important to remember that the actions of the few do not represent the entire community or Canada. The flip side of it, we also highlighted the importance of respecting the rule of law, and we did talk about foreign interference.
We did talk about foreign interference, is what the Canadian Prime Minister said, not exactly alluding to what the context was, but in the past, the Canadian administration has spoken of foreign interference as far as what was happening there. There is no interference. This kind of violence is not going to be tolerated, was the clear message that the Prime Minister sent during that bilateral meeting. So let's take a look at what exactly happened between the two leaders when they were at the negotiating table. Of course, there was a lot of business to be discussed, but this issue was also of importance. Trudeau's statement, like you just heard, he said that we believe in freedom of speech, we believe in free expression, to which India made it very, very clear that there are forces that are promoting secessionism in Canada, and that is something that is not acceptable to India or to New Delhi. Trudeau then went on to say that we will keep pushing back against hatred and violence. But contrary to what he says, we've seen the kind of violent incidences that have come to the fore, the vandalism, the graffiti that we've seen on walls across Canada as far as Hindu temples are concerned. All of that is out there to see, which is why India made it clear that the Indian community is threatened there. That is something that should be taken seriously, even though Justin Trudeau went on to say that the actions of few do not represent the entire country, but yet they somehow fail to act against those actions of a few. Justin Trudeau then went on to say that we believe in the rule of law and action will be taken, to which India made it clear that it is our bilateral ties that are at stake, those ties that are anchored in the fact that there is mutual respect for each other and that both countries believe that it is the rule of law that takes precedence over everything else. That was the kind of commentary that came to the fore from the Indian Prime Minister. Extremely important discussions that took place between the two. A dressing down, if you will, was given to the Canadian Prime Minister as far as the Khalistani issue went. It is of political nature for Justin Trudeau to not act against some of these elements that's believed in some quarters. Is that why he's going soft on the kind of pro-Khalistani sentiment that we've seen across Canada? Whatever it is, India is not going to take this lying down, and that really was the clear message as far as the talks between the two prime ministers were concerned. Anand, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more perspective in this. Anand, this is something on expected lines. Prime Minister Modi has done this with his Australian counterpart in the past as well. And this message had to be sent because irrespective of what Canada says, their words and their actions don't really match.
Well, ahead of the Prime Minister's visit, that is for the G20, Justin Trudeau's visit, last month you had the Canadian NSA who had come and there was an interaction with the NSA Ajit Doval. And there again it was very clearly emphasized to Canada that this will not be tolerated and this is not acceptable. You must crack down. And it was quite a dressing down we are given to understand that was given. And clearly this time around Justin Trudeau finds himself cornered. Blame it on his own ministry, foreign ministry or wherever, because where is he in the pictures? Where is he on the multilateral forum? All other nations were together, but Trudeau was isolated. The other aspect, we must not forget that this entire referendum effort which has happened in Surrey was actually planned or timed for Trudeau to take off from Delhi and for this to happen. Because it all happened hours after the G20 meeting was over. But Trudeau's plane got a technical snag and the Canadian Prime Minister is still in Delhi when this entire effort has happened in Surrey. Even in here, there was an objection raised because Trudeau had said that this is a school. One of the schools had given their own premises for a referendum action to go on there, a secessionist call to be made, and there was huge furor because Trudeau had said we are dedicating or giving extra funds, allocating extra funds for extracurricular activities, and question was asked that is this the extracurricular activity you want to promote? So clearly it is embarrassing for Trudeau that he is still in India. And this has happened, a secessionist activity. He tried to show, brazen through it, turning around and trying to even go to say that it is Indian interference. We don't know if that's going to be his pole plank when he seeks another term. Will it work like the China interference the last time it did? That was the narrative. Will that work? But clearly, equations are frosty, and he is going to isolate himself, given the fact the proximity that we've seen with America, proximity we've seen with the other nations, and Trudeau finds himself quite a pariah right now. Now, unless he acts on this, like Foreign Minister Jaishankar and you were also mentioning, this is political compulsions, but what sort of political compulsions? Only twice in the lifespan of Canada as a democracy has emergency been established. Once was under Justin Trudeau, the other one was under his father, and that was when the Quebec secessionism was going on. So he should know with his own family background that secession anywhere should not be tolerated and it impinges on the sovereignty of a nation. So why should he encourage it?
And political compulsions on one side and compulsions with bilateral ties as far as India is concerned, that's also on the other side. So a really tough spot for Justin Trudeau to be in. But Anand, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that and that perspective. Those are some of the things that were discussed over the course of the last 3 days. It wasn't just the G20 summit. A lot came out on the sidelines as well. We'll keep getting you more details and updates on that on the other side of a very quick break. Don't go anywhere.